Speaking of being behind the curve, Wellian, RBA's Governor Lowe is now talking in terms which suggest that he's suddenly realised that he was a little bit behind the curve there. What are you expecting to happen in Australia?
Well, overall, I think, to be fair, a lot of central banks have been caught flat-footed this year. I think if you look at some of the pace at which central banks have hiked rate, more than 50 central banks globally have hiked by 50 pips at one shot. That just tells you that they are catching up, and a lot of things obviously was out of the expectation, including Russia-Ukraine war, the impact on inflation. But definitely, I think when it comes to economies like Australia, they will have to tighten more massively than previously considered, even a few months ago.
Right. Well, just very quickly, I do want to ask you whether or not these central banks are going to be watching the forex markets closely. We've seen a lot of volatility and weakness hit currencies across the ASEAN pretty broadly as well. Who do you think might be, which currency do you think of the rupiah and the peso might be seeing more sensitivities to the decisions that their respective central banks will be making later on?
Well, the two economies that you pointed out are those that experience current account deficit, even though, say, in the case for Indonesia, deficit has narrowed quite a bit. Anytime there's a deficit, obviously the market's going to look at that and say, these are the countries that are more vulnerable to any kind of outflow risk. I think overall, we do see potentially, dollar strength, at least in the near term, and we're going to see that playing out with the dollar rupiah, dollar PHP, potentially going further up. Even though I think to be fair, I think we do have a lot more foreign reserves firepower in order to curtail some of the volatility ahead.